I like philosophy. I read philosophy a lot, and in particular, I read about ethics. Right. What we learn in there, what we talk about, is objective moral principles. Basically, the whole idea that there are moral principles which we have to abide by, right? And we can't create any sort of morals, no matter what we do. If you go to another country and they have laws that say it's okay to do certain things like murder, you know, those things are still bad no matter what. Wherever you go, murder is always bad because you can't override moral laws and stuff. And so from that, I believe that no matter what happens, even if you don't believe that there is a God or something, at least we can know that there are moral truths out there. And I guess I find a sense of purpose in thinking that the point of life is to live according to morals and according to reason, I guess. And
so you're saying there are these moral truths out there that we should follow. Okay. And how did you come to this belief? Just by reading philosophy?
Yeah, just understand. I guess it's look at the world and understanding that human actions can be either right or wrong. You know, a wrong action would be hurting someone, whereas a right action would be helping someone and promoting eudaimonia, you know, promoting human flourishing and stuff like that.
All right. So that's it. Very interesting. These like moral truths that are out there.
Yeah.
For example, like murder is wrong. Would that be considered a moral truth that is out there that we have to follow? So is it possible for murder in any circumstance to be a good thing?
No. Because murder means unjustified killing. A killing could be good. If a killing is done to protect people, you could have a good killing, but murder by definition means unjustified killing, so you can't have a good murder.
Okay. So did we, for example, murder or kill Osama bin Laden?
Osama bin Laden? Well, I guess we killed him because, I mean, he was a bad person. You know, he planned to kill more innocent people. You know, he was responsible for the death of over 3,000 people on September 11th. And he probably had plans to murder even more people in the future. So I'd say that we killed him rather than murder him.
Would you say that there might be some people who thought that we murdered him?
Probably, yeah. I mean, people who sympathize with him have a different worldview. They think that he's doing good, and by killing him, we murdered him.
So how could someone who thinks we murdered him and someone who thinks we killed him determine which is the actual case?
Well, in the end, one of them has the moral high ground, because one of them is morally right and one of them is morally wrong in the end. It all goes back to there being objective moral principles. But one of them, basically one of them is in the right and one of them is in the wrong. And when you look at both of their situations and you analyze them, you'll see that it's probably best to have killed him, I guess.
How could one determine if the situation was in the right or the wrong?
If the situation was right, you mean like how could we have...
How could we convince someone who thinks it's murder that it's actually just a killing, that it was a good thing?
Probably indoctrinate them with something, just throw a bunch of, you'd probably green light them, right? No, gaslight them. Gaslight them and...
Okay. It's one way.
It's one way.
Alright. Interesting. So, moral truths being out there, how do we know what these moral truths are? Like, how do we discover them?
That's complicated. That's like moral epistemology, I guess. I like to think that everyone has an innate sense of right and wrong, and when we think about it rationally, you know, we can outline moral principles, like promote human flourishing, you know, don't do unnecessary harm. But the way morals also work is sometimes you have to do things. You have to think. There are certain things that are required for you to do. You know, if ever you're in a situation where someone needs help, and you have the means to help them. And without that help, they'll die. And in that case, you have to help them, you know? Because it's, for you not to help them would be morally wrong.
Yeah. There's tons of philosophical thought experiments we can go through, like a person in the hospital who's like perfectly healthy, but there's like 5 dying people.
Oh yeah.
You know, that one.
Yeah.
Like using his organs to like help them. Yeah, so finding out these moral truths that are out there. You mentioned that we have an innate sense of right and wrong.
I'd like to think that a rationally thinking person can tell right and wrong.
A rational thinking person can tell
right from wrong.
Through which means?
Through which means?
Yeah.
This is, it's hard to explain because it's, this is getting into like moral epistemology. I haven't gotten there. It's a lot to it. The reason we have philosophy is to learn things like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see where you're going. You're seeing how it relates to human flourishing and avoiding unnecessary harm.
Yeah.
Those are good things. Maybe I could throw out another thought experiment. If we found out tomorrow about this, or sometime in the future about this, like experience machine, kind of like the Matrix or something. Something we can be sure that will be there forever, and all we have to do is just hook ourselves up to it, and we will have like the highest pinnacle of human flourishing.
Human flourishing, or
yeah, and we won't have to have any harm done to us. It'll just be whatever we want for like for all eternity, for as long as we live.
Well, like endless hedonism?
Possibly. Is that a moral thing for someone to go through? Is that a good thing?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily good just to be a hedonist all the time. Because I mean, if you chase pleasure all the time, there's certain things you'll miss out on. You know. You'll probably end up miserable if all you do is chase pleasure. Because there's other things that are more important than pleasure. Things like friendship and things that have like that sort of intrinsic value.
So, can I get a sense of your confidence that that these moral truths are out there, like these things that are discoverable, say on a scale from 0 to 100?
100.
Is there anything by 100? Does that mean you cannot be mistaken about this?
I don't think I can be mistaken. I would think that all truths are out there. I mean, I'm not an absolutist. Like, I'm not saying like.
Possibly you could be mistaken about these moral truths being out there, being discoverable?
It's have you like ever read on philosophy? I don't want to say that I'm like an absolutist, but I want to generally say that yeah, there are moral truths out there, and I'm pretty certain that there are moral truths out there.
Pretty certain, that's fine. Is there anything you could find out or learn to change your confidence?
I don't think so. I mean, there's people who like to argue otherwise. Like, there's certain people who are going to argue ethical relativism. People who say that your culture makes up right and wrong, or you know, whatever country you're from determines what right and wrong is. But in the end, we don't get to pick what right and wrong is. Similarly, we don't get to pick how logic works. You know, those things are simply out there.
So right and wrong is kind of like how logic is?
Yeah, it's intertwined. It is. Yeah, it's logically. It's just something logical that you shouldn't do bad actions, and you should do right actions. You know.
How does this should come about?
Fact value problem, huh? Yeah. That's the whole fact value problem.
It is odd distinction. It's hard.
How does this should come about? Have you studied philosophy?
Yeah.
I can tell.
It's a tough subject.
It is a tough subject. It's
fascinating.
Yeah.
I can give my opinion.
Enlighten me.
I kind of go along with Sam Harris's The Moral Landscape. If you've heard about that, it's about avoiding unnecessary harm and working towards the well-being of conscious creatures. Mm-hmm. A rock doesn't. We don't have to worry about rocks being moral or immoral. doing anything moral or immoral to them. So it really comes down to what's happening in the brains of conscious creatures and trying to figure out ways that they can flourish and avoid unnecessary harm. That's great. Cool. So anything else about this?
I guess that's it.
Thanks so much for chatting.
Thank you.
Great.